Right, the evaluation is it's not too bad. It's only worth 4 marks, so it's not a huge piece of work, but it does seem like quite a bit to do for 4 marks. That's the only thing. But yeah, very rarely do people actually get 4 marks, and it's usually the bottom points. I'll just quickly go through. But basically, it says they need full consideration given to how well the outcome meets all of its requirements. So it's where it links back to the objectives at the start. How the outcome could be improved if it was to be done again. So it's pretty standard for any evaluation. And a full or nearly full, independent feedback obtained of a useful and realistic nature, evaluated and discussed in a meaningful way. The useful and realistic nature is where people fall down, all right, or the evaluation of it. So it's the feedback that's usually the bit that hurts. These two bits are quite easy to do. So I've made this little checklist. There's only obviously 3 things. All right, the first one, how well it meets the objectives. You need to literally list your objectives, explain how you've demonstrated it, and you can, if your testing is really good, you can link back to various parts of testing. As you can see from test 14 to 24, I've clearly met this objective. It's been well demonstrated, blah, 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 blah. And also any user feedback you've got on that objective as well, you'd include that there. So you make sure it's not like it's just your opinion of how well you met the objective. If you can get other people's opinion to help, that would be great. Okay, so that's quite easy to do. And you could do that in one big table, depending on how detailed your testing is. This bit is a discussion of how it could be improved if you were to do it again. Now, there is a difference between you failing an objective and not knowing how to do it. This is where you can evidence. If you had more time and you would have been able to do it, this is where you evidence it. So you said, if I was to do this project again, I would have approached the bit where I went wrong. I would have approached it differently. I would have done it like this. This would have meant I could have done that. If you can explain how you would have actually achieved something, that can have a positive impact on areas of your marks. Because it proves that it was a time issue and not an ability issue. And even if it's not to do with something that's broken and you might have met all your objectives, having now done this project, what would you do to make it better? How would you change your objectives? How, that sort of stuff. So talk about what you'd do better if you were to do it again. Sorry, it's my doorbell. The last one is getting feedback. Now, I would suggest you use, I've wrote Google Forms on here, but I'd say Microsoft Forms. I'd say you make a pretty decent questionnaire that, where possible, links to your objectives, and you get other people in the class to sit with your program and fill in the form. We can do this when we return to school. So when we have a class in school, we can get everybody to load their programs up. Then they you should have already created this form, and you just get people to sit with your program for 5-10 minutes, and then you move on. And if we all do this for each other, we'll all benefit each other, because you need this feedback to get the marks. Okay, so I would suggest as well, where possible, don't have open-ended questions, or don't have too many open-ended questions. Some are quite good, but don't have too many, because you've got to be able to evaluate it. Remember, it's got to be in a meaningful way. So if you had scaled scores, and then maybe an open-ended explanation box underneath, that might be quite nice. So like, in your opinion, on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy is it for you to use the program? They score it, and then you say, well, why did you put that number, which allows you to dig a bit deeper, that sort of thing. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about how you design your form, because the questions are going to be totally different person to person, depending on what your project is. But try and make sure you've got data from it that means you can analyze it. And the reason I would suggest using Google Forms or Microsoft Forms is because it makes all the charts and the pie charts and everything for you. So there's no extra work. As long as you design the form, when you send it out via email, it will collect all the data in, and you can click one button and you've got all the charts done for you. All right, so it seems like a bit of a no-brainer to save you a bit of time. And that's it. Once you've done those 3 things, that's your evaluation done. All right, well, that's your project done if you've done everything else.